We're all about burnout-proof productivity here on the podcast, so I'm excited to share that I'm a featured speaker at the Beyond Corporate Burnout Summit, March 17th through 19th, 2026. It's a calm, supportive virtual event for high-achieving women, and it's free. Save your spot at positivelyproductive.com/beyond26. At its most practical level, journaling is simply externalized thinking. It's a way to move thoughts out of your working memory and into a stable, visible space where your brain no longer has to keep track of everything and keep it all active at once. Writing slows the mental noise, reduces cognitive load, and allows you to see your thoughts instead of just feeling surrounded by them. And that can be especially good if you are a visual person and you like to read and look at them and maybe move them around physically. It can be great if you're an external processor. You'll definitely appreciate this. But even if you aren't, the act of clearing your mind and laying your thoughts out in front of you can create immediate relief. You're listening to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zawrotny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and if you're struggling to move forward as an overthinker or overanalyzer, this episode is for you. Last week, we talked about how action often creates clarity and how moments of stuckness come from waiting for certainty that never quite arrives. Today, we're building on that idea by exploring a simple, practical way to reduce mental noise so deciding on that next action feels easier. We're talking about journaling, but probably not in the way you're used to hearing about it. Journaling is often framed as a tool for reflection, emotional processing, or deep introspection. And while those approaches can be incredibly valuable, and I encourage you to try them, they're not the only way journaling can support you. Journaling can also function as a decision-making and clarity tool, especially when your brain feels noisy, conflicted, and mentally stuck. Today, we'll talk about journaling as a tool for clarity, decision-making, and forward movement. Not journaling to answer, who am I, but journaling to answer, what do I do next? One of the biggest obstacles to forward movement isn't a lack of ideas, it's too many of them. Ask this multi-passionate, I can tell you. Too many thoughts, possibilities, concerns, options, and internal debates competing for attention all at the same time. When everything stays trapped in your head, your brain is forced to juggle it all simultaneously, which is cognitively exhausting and makes clear thinking incredibly difficult. This is why I talk about doing a mind sweep before you set up your to-do list or take care of your schedule or do any kind of focused thinking. Same idea. This is where journaling becomes a surprisingly powerful thinking tool. At its most practical level, journaling is simply externalized thinking. It's a way to move thoughts out of your working memory and into a stable, visible space where your brain no longer has to keep track of everything and keep it all active at once. Writing slows the mental noise, reduces cognitive load, and allows you to see your thoughts instead of just feeling surrounded by them. And that can be especially good if you are a visual person and you like to read and look at them and maybe move them around physically. It can be great if you're an external processor. You'll definitely appreciate this. But even if you aren't, the act of clearing your mind and laying your thoughts out in front of you can create immediate relief. That's because when thoughts remain internal, they tend to loop, collide, and recycle. And when they're written, they become objects your brain can evaluate rather than chase and move around and feel closed in by. Vague worries become specific concerns. Mental clutter becomes visible information, and that's much more easy to process. Your brain is no longer trying to remember everything. You're giving yourself cognitive breathing room, as it were. And that space is where clarity, ideas, and answers often emerge. When it comes to journaling, people often assume there are rules, the right way to do it, the proper format, the ideal length. But this is actually a bit like Fight Club. Well, except we do talk about it. We talk about it a lot, actually. So perhaps it's more importantly like Rule 3 of Fight Club. When you say stop, it's over. No minimum time requirement. 3 to 5 minutes is plenty, but do less if you need it. Do more if you want. No word count either. Use bullet points. Write what comes to mind. Messy writing's fine. Incomplete thoughts are fine. As a matter of fact, it's better than fine. This is how you do it. Get your thoughts out into the journal. The goal is not to journal longer or better. It's simply to make the process easy and useful, to give your brain somewhere to place its thoughts instead of holding everything in working memory. Because the real benefit of journaling isn't what you produce, it's the reduction of the cognitive load. Now, if you're new to journaling, and especially this kind of journaling, or if you've ever found yourself staring at a blank page, unsure what to write, which is like me all the time, prompts can be very helpful. So I wanted to give you a starting point with them. Prompts give your brain somewhere to begin and remove the pressure of figuring out what to say because you're answering a question. So I have a few prompts you can experiment with. Let's walk through them together. The first set are decision clearing prompts. When you're stuck on a decision or next step, try writing responses to these questions. What decision am I actually trying to make? What are my real options? What feels unclear to me now? What information might I be missing? What would good enough for now look like? What feels like the smallest workable step? Notice the goal here is not deep introspection. You're helping your brain organize and stabilize all of these different thoughts and to find real, feasible options. Here's a set of clarity and momentum prompts for general mental spinning and overwhelm. Ask yourself, what feels heavy to me right now, mentally heavy? What keeps replaying in my mind? What am I overcomplicating? What would make this feel simpler? What is one possible step I can take? Again, this is not about journaling beautifully or profoundly. This isn't about introspection. It is about finding the clues to what is possible, to what is real, to how to cut out the noise and find the feasible options within. The focus is movement, it's action. And when viewed this way, this kind of journaling becomes less about reflection and more about mental movement. You're helping your brain process, evaluate, and move forward rather than endlessly loop. If your mind feels especially crowded or noisy, you might find it helpful to start with a mind sweep before journaling. And I know that sounds redundant, but they have two different purposes. With the mind sweep, you'll be able to take what has your attention and get it out of your brain just in general. And some of that may go to different kinds of task lists and schedules and things that you can delegate. But once you have that out, then you can start to dig into the specific places where you're feeling stuck when you journal this way. So if you'd like guidance with the mind sweep process, you can request it at the resources page of the positivelyproductive.com website. You'll find all kinds of things we talk about here, the guided mind sweep, the toolkit. When we've talked about stress management tips, you will find them there. You can request all of these things for free. And there are also some paid products there that can be really helpful when you want the solution to feeling overwhelmed and overscheduled and you want to design a simple day. You'll want to check out the minimum effective day planning package. And there's also a whole life decluttering on-demand webinar that you may want to check out as well. So from there, I want to encourage you to experiment with the prompts we discussed today. And you don't need to do this perfectly. Again, this is imperfect action to figure out more imperfect action. That's what we're trying to encourage, just like we talked about last week, because a lot of times action is where the clarity comes from. So try using these prompts as a starting point to help your brain sort, clarify, and move forward. And then feel free to do what you want from there. If you want to create visual aids and sketch out like graphs or charts or make columns of things or prioritize in different ways and write it out visually, if that will help you process, do it. There really are no rules. There are so many options for how you can approach this. It's about active processing and decision making where you're using the journal as a tool to do it. And I want you to notice what shifts once your thoughts are out of your head and onto the page and how you're feeling when you do it. And if you find that you benefit from having someone to check in with while you're doing this, that accountability will help you, which for many people makes all the difference. This is why I offer my async accountability subscription. Accountability is essential for progress, but scheduling coaching sessions can sometimes feel like just another task on your list, and you're already overwhelmed and you're already trying to figure out what you need to do next. Scheduling another coaching time is just one more thing that you can ill afford to figure out. Life is full. Why not make it simpler? That's my MO here, is to make everything easier, simpler, less stressful for you. So my async accountability gives you on-demand access to me, and we can have regular check-ins as you'd like, or check-ins on demand as needed. And that's so important to have the coaching and support you need when you need it, not when I'm available. You can find more details on the coaching page of the Positively Productive website. As always, I'd love feedback on this topic, and I'd love to know if you tried this journaling. You can contact me through the website Connect page or through social media. Let me know how it's going and if you'd like me to send the prompts list to you. If you sign up for the VIP newsletter, which you can do when you request the guided mind sweep, you can simply reply to the emails I send as well if you have questions or want to share something with me. And I'll be sending out the prompts in my next email as well. That's it for today. I'll leave you to try the journaling and look forward to our time together next episode. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. I hope this episode inspired you, and I encourage you to think about one action you can take based on today's topic. Then share it with me so I can cheer you on. Go to positivelyproductive.com to connect with me, read blog posts, and access links from each episode and download resources.